Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto. I hope you're having a good one. There is a lot to unpack today. And when I say a lot, I mean a hell of a lot. So let's get started. CME Group is set to launch on their derivatives platform two new products, one for Ethereum, one for Bitcoin. And that's set, they're both set to start on July 31st. So pay attention to that. Maybe do a little bit of research. In a major move, the UK has passed a bill that recognizes crypto as regulated financial activity. Now, just take a step back, let it wash over you for a minute. What does that mean? It means that the UK, already a financial hub, is saying we are a crypto hub. Period. Period. End of report. And while the United States is sleeping, other countries are taking charge. And Brian Armstrong said it. The United States is squandering their lead in the crypto space. Yeah, if they really had a lead, right? Coinbase is also launching their layer 2 technology at some point this year. It's named Base. Kind of interesting. It's based on Optimism's optimistic technology as well as their OP stack. So I'm sitting here and I'm going, that's going to be interesting. I want to see what they're going to do with it. Now, they're dropping the news the way I told you. Here's a little sprinkle. We're not going to give you anything, solid yet. We're just letting you know we're working on it. And they've been talking about it for a while, but this is a significant move in that they're really coming out there talking about the technology that they're leveraging and all those other things. And that's why I think that at some point this year, next year, they're actually gonna be there. Supposedly it'll be sometime this year. We'll have to see. We'll really have to see. Something interesting to me, Blockchain Association is saying the quiet part out loud. We've all been thinking the same thing, that Gary Gensler needs to recuse himself. But Maria Koppel, sorry, I might have butchered your name. I greatly apologize. She's a senior counselor for the Blockchain Association. And in their writings, they say, listen, he's already prejudged by saying everything except for Bitcoin is a security. And what she's saying is, how can you say that if you haven't reviewed all of the facts for everything else that's out there? It's impossible. He couldn't have done it. So why are you prejudging? Hence, he's got a demonstrated hatred for crypto. Period. I'm going to use that word. There are probably better words, but I'm going to use that word because that's all he's shown me. And so they're calling for his recusal from any kind of prosecution regarding blockchain technology, crypto. Nothing's going to come of it. I seriously think nothing's going to come of that. However, it does add to the noise around Gary Gensler. It does add to the pressure for him to be removed. It really does. I keep throwing out there the name Hester Pierce. I think she should take over. But that's just me. Anyway, so MasterCard, they're coming out with a multi-token network. And I want you to really think about this. MasterCard is a consumer-facing business, but they have a major consulting business, right, on the side for, that's directed B2B. That experience, along with, obviously they're in the, they're a credit card. All of that experience led them to, identifying 4 pillars, of trust. And let me get to this. Let me find it because I want to read you what their 4 pillars of trust are. I'm just looking at my notes. They gave the 4 pillars of trust include counterparty, trust in technology, trust in digital assets, and consumer protections. And they're saying their network will do that. And will respond to each one of those pillars. And it's built on those 4 pillars. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, that's actually pretty interesting. You have a credit card company that's looking at crypto looking at CBDCs as well and saying to themselves, yeah, our lifespan going forward is going to be short lived if we don't get in on this. Because who's going to use credit cards? When a CBDC comes out, people will still want to use credit, but a lot of people are moving toward the use, because think about this, debit cards introduced the idea of living off of cash. There are a lot more people living off of cash now than, over the past, couple of decades since before debit cards, because everybody lived off of cash. Then they introduced credit cards. Then came credit cards, right? And debt shot up. Now you're looking at the introduction of crypto and CBDCs, and that's going to help bring people back to living off of cash, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, that's actually really big. That's actually really big and really smart for MasterCard to do, because if they don't do something, they would go out of business in the future. I mean, not really fast, but you can see it, right? I know I can see it. So that's why I think that them launching this multi-token network is actually going to be a very big deal. A very big deal. So we'll see what happens, like what it actually does and how it actually services people and all that other good stuff. But remember, whenever you use a MasterCard, debit, or credit card, they're collecting all that data, right? They're collecting all that data on how you used it. That drastically changes when things move over to, CBDCs and crypto. Because the only data that they would have is how much money was spent. Over here, they can actually see what it was spent on. And technically who spent it. And obviously where you spent it. They'd still know where you spent it, right? Because they'd be able to tie the wallet to the coin to a transaction. That's easy. But they won't have as much data. So they'll have to do that collection differently. So I'm paying attention to that because there are opportunities for, companies to work with them and see how they can do this. So it'll be interesting. Something else that's big on a global scale. Singapore, I told you back in November, the last time I spoke about this, wasn't the first time, but the last time I spoke about this was back in November, I think November 2nd of last year. Singapore Central Bank started this project called Project Guardian, and it was all about DeFi. And when I first spoke about it, there was like one use case, a general idea about DeFi, right? And then they broke it down to 3 different use cases. Let me get you those use cases because it's actually very important for you to understand that. The first one was a global liquidity pool. The second one is asset-backed security tokens. And the third, digital native issuance of structured notes to reduce the red tape in handling those transactions. Huge, huge. You want to know who's involved? Japan's FSA just joined the project. JP Morgan and their Onyx Digital Assets is already involved. Polygon is involved. Aave is involved. Uniswap is involved. This is a massive thing. DeFi is going to be huge, and they are all over it. Definitely not a pet rock. Look up that. I said it. I said who said that a couple of days ago, and I've been saying it. Just look that up, and you'll know who said that. Called the whole industry, the whole crypto industry, a pet rock. It's interesting. In another major move similar to Apple's, Coinbase has partnered with Circle again. They helped create Circle to offer 4% yield on USDC. Banks are going to have problems. Banks are going to have to start saying, "Oh, we better up our rates." And I've been seeing banks start to do that because they're going to lose assets under management. That's the big deal. They're going to lose that liquidity. Anyway, you know what we should do? We should go over the numbers. Now, let me bring this up. There you go. All right. So let me just refresh, because it's been a few minutes since I last refreshed it. There you go. So who's down? nobody should be down, but you do have companies that are down. Is there anybody in this list that I actually care about? Stacks is at zero, so they're moving sideways. Nothing happened, even though the whole market is up. Take a look over here. Bitcoin Cash up 28%. Litecoin up 18%. These are double digits, people. These are double digits. Why? You have to pay attention to Asia. You must pay attention to Asia. Why? Bitcoin Cash is huge in Asia, specifically Korea. Just saying. Litecoin is bigger than what people think. 18% pop up. That's actually a big deal. Who else is on here that I'm paying attention to? Stellar, a two-digit up, 11%, kind of big. Aave, just spoke about them, up 9%. Waves is up 9%. Yes, it's a coin that I am paying attention to. So you have projects on here that are making moves that you should be paying attention to. Even if you're looking at the correlations between the coins that you're interested in and these coins to see, well, the coins that I'm interested in correlate to these coins. So then when these go up, they go up. When these go down, they go down. Or it could be the opposite. When these go up, they go down, vice versa. That's what I'm paying attention to. This is why I'm so in tune with doing research every day. And it doesn't take a lot. Every day, just get up, skim through the headlines, blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously I had to shoot videos. My process is a bit longer, but I shoot through the headlines. I look at the numbers, and that keeps me in tune throughout the day. I'll check in. That's what I do. Look at this big board. Bitcoin up $30,794. Ethereum up to $18.89. Matic is back up to 65. A little while ago it was at 66. Solana up huge, up to 1869. BNB chain up 2%. Just pay attention to this stuff. XRP is in the green, but it's not really moving that much, right? It's 47 cents, 47.87 cents. Cardano making big moves. Litecoin making big moves. Doge not really doing so much, but at least it's green. 6.6 cents. I think yesterday was 6.3. I'm not expecting a lot. I don't hear in the United States. I'm not hearing anything with regard to adoption, everything else like that. My platform uses Doge. Let's see. Fear and Greed Index is up to 56. That's not so bad. DeFi Llama, 57 billion in total value locked. Right now, when you look at this, you sit back and you kind of, wow, look how close we are to the top level of my, of my green band. Remember, the top level is at 31,580 and the bottom is at 26,475. We're approaching that. So you see how we're bouncing across, how we're just, lateral movements. I think that we'll go lateral for a little bit, but I think with all of this institutional interest, and remember, who do Fidelity and BlackRock represent? Not just business, but retail investors too. That's what we're talking about. So when you see all these companies starting to say, hey, we want a Bitcoin spot ETF, we want a Bitcoin spot ETF, you see everybody FOMO in. Businesses, people, that's when you're going to see, just people start to get in. And they should. There's a finite supply of Bitcoin. Pay attention. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto. I hope what I'm doing, it helps you out in doing your research. Hope it starts you out to a great day. If you have any questions, shoot them over and I'll be happy to try to answer them because it helps me learn. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.